You need to try and pick off the units as. Look at the shields on the Martin.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is HD.
And this is Pain User.
And we're both back. This is going to be another co-cast of the IPL, and this is in the winner's bracket round 1. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And today we're going to be looking at Vile State versus ESC GoOdy in a Protoss versus Terran. This is going to be a best of 3 series. And once again, this is the round of 32 of IPL Season 2. I am so excited, Payne.
I am too, man. We've had so many good games so far out of this tournament. You know, upsets, players we expected to do well, doing well, continuing to impress. And here we have it. The Panzer General GoOdy himself. Probably gonna go mech. I wouldn't be surprised. Although I have seen him randomly throw in the bio build from time to time, but he has so much experience with mech. He has all the timings figured out, and he just knows how to play it so much better than anyone else out there. So look to see some mech play out of him. And then State, Vile State, originally from TQ, a phenomenal Protoss player, just a total dark horse in this tournament. Yeah, I was so surprised when I heard that he qualified. I was super excited, too, because he's actually a local player to San Francisco. I've seen him at a couple local tournaments, and he always does really well. So super excited for him in this tournament. Really rooting for him. Would love to see him win, even though he's Protoss. But, yeah, that's a little bit of background on the two players, and hopefully we have a good game here.
That's the thing as commentators. We always got to try to stay unbiased as possible.
Absolutely.
Yes. And another thing you pointed out, which is really important, is the fact that this tournament did have open qualifiers. So, yes, there is going to be a lot of upsets. A lot of players are going to come in here, and they're just going to take out the competition who you've never heard of before.
Mm-hmm. Still, at the end of the day, though, you kind of have people that you would expect to make it through, people you watch on the way through, and you're just like, he's such a talented player. He's already made it so far, and then it's like, ugh.
But that's the thing. It's innovative. You'll always there's a chance to see a new player on the horizon, and that's the thing about invitationals is you don't exactly get the chance to see someone new who deserves to be at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Invitationals, not the best format for tournaments. It's just tournament organizers being lazy. It's easier. You don't have to deal with the qualifiers.
Well, I hope you're not calling me lazy.
No. Not at all. I'm just saying that's really what it is. And you're a single individual who's running his own tournament. If it's like a group of people, put together the qualifiers, use something like Zeek.com or Challenge or something like that, put it together, make it happen. It takes a little bit of extra work, but you're giving so many people an opportunity to compete at something that they love. And, it just sucks to take that away from people who usually won't have an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, my mom.
And that's a great thing about the IPL.
My mom calls me lazy in the morning, no matter what. So anyways, getting back to this game at hand here.
Actually, I was talking about you, Alex.
Oh.
No,
it makes me so sad.
Kidding,
there's a tear coming down my eye now. All right, guys, this is going to be GoOdy versus State. Once again, GoOdy here has opened up with Factory after the gas. And yeah, what a surprise. The Panzer General, as you call him, going with the mech. Once again, the probe will get denied. I do not believe that it saw the Factory. No, it did not. But State should be able to go off just based on reputation and know that, hey, he might be facing off against a pretty mech-heavy build. And, I'm one of the players that likes to see mech versus Protoss. It's kind of the old Brood War style. I love mech, and it's just more hardcore in a way to say it. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mech is, it's super difficult to play. That's one thing about it.
Yes.
Especially against Protoss. Protoss that know how to play against mech. They can really just utilize that extra mobility. They can get Blink Stalkers. They can get Colossus. They can use the Colossus to spot the high ground, blink up top. And we do have a 4 Marine, 3 SCV single Hellion push out of GoOdy here. And it looks like he may be able to pick off this first Stalker. He's going to continue to chase that with the Hellion. I'm not sure what his end goal with this push is. He could be trying to put some bunkers up at the Nexus or something along those lines, and this might actually work out. There's only 2 Stalkers on the field for State, and here come the Marines.
Yeah, that Stalker gets its butt roasted apart, and now, State in a lot of trouble. He may need to bring out some more forces. Luckily, his warp gate timing just finishing right there, and he's got 3 more Stalkers coming to reinforce, and I think Penny should be able to hold this off, even with GoOdy bringing up that bunker, because that SCV could be target fired very easily, and really there's no forces left on the ground. That will force the cancel on the bunker. bunker, and State able to hold the front door. And like you said, a very interesting push from GoOdy. Timing before the factory really was able to kick into high gear.
Yeah, and if we check the HP on those stalkers, he actually got out of there as one of them was extremely low. Yeah. Surprised he didn't send a single Marine in to finish that off, or perhaps just take one more volley before backing out. But immediately as a follow-up from GoOdy, we do have a Banshee on the way as well as Cloak, so he is going to look to do some serious harassment here. He is down by 7 SCVs currently. He does have his second command center on the way, but State already has both of his Nexus up and running, and we do have a Robo on the way, so he will be able to get those observers out before that Banshee gets there, and I just don't see this Banshee doing too much damage.
Yeah, this Banshee, if it gets detected by the observer, which it most likely will, I think GoOdy is just not, like you said, going to be able to do any damage at all. And really, the thing is, he's invested a lot into this Banshee. The 200 minerals and the 200 gas, that's no cheap ticket. And the Banshee itself is quite an expensive investment as well. And I don't know, really, if he can get 2 Banshees out, which it looks like he's making a second one, maybe he can try some, multi-pronged harass at both the 2 Nexuses. But with the observer quickly being chrono boosted out, and the stalkers already waiting to pick off the Banshee, I think State's going to be in a great spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we keep our eye on that first Banshee, it is making its way in now. It looks like he did keep one of the observers relatively nearby to his base, didn't send it all the way in. He is going to be bringing that back right now, but he is forced to pull some probes off the line here. This Banshee getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kills, and it looks like 6, 7.
Oh my god, this Banshee's running rampant pain, and finally the obs comes in. GoOdy not controlling his Banshee.
Yeah, not even moving it. That is very GoOdy-esque right there. Just kind of, whatever, leaving the Banshee. But mission accomplished. Yeah. And the second Banshee looking to hit the exact same trajectory, going to go through the exact same flight path, and hopefully he staggers it a little bit, gives a little bit of delayed time before he sends that in, because, I can't help but think that State will be ready for that second Banshee.
Yeah, I think he will be pretty prepared. But the thing here is, GoOdy with that Banshee was able to, apply some pressure, and now he's landed his natural down. He has his income running, and he's almost on par with the Protoss. He just needs a little bit more saturation. But, that Banshee definitely did not just economical damage, but kind of psychological damage. Now the Protoss has to be concerned about additional Banshees coming in. He has the obs and the 4 stalkers already here. It looks like this Banshee will not become the next Black Hawk down. Decides to cloak and decloak, and it's gonna fly out of there.
And it looks like he will make his way to the Zelnaga. Gonna go ahead and pick off that probe, just getting a little bit of map control back, and once he establishes that map control, I don't think he's going to push, actually. He's just going to feel a little bit safer, and he is denying State that vital information, so State not going to feel too secure. Going to have to use those observers, get in there and figure out what's going on, but we do have missile turrets going up for GoOdy, so he will be able to deny vision in certain places, and we also have another Banshee on the way to the Protoss main right now, and there is a Banshee out on the field over at the opposite main of State, so he's probably going to use these 2 Banshees for some multi-pronged harass. And does GoOdy see the observer? He does have Marines marching down. I don't know if he saw that, but hopefully he will eventually, because getting rid of that obs, it might actually fly into a missile turret. No, pulling back immediately.
Yeah, that's the thing about Protoss players. Really got to be careful when scouting the Terrans because of those missile turrets. If they're just a little bit under, not paying attention, then they can lose the obs very easily. The missile turret takes it down in just a couple of volleys. And you were mentioning, Payne, that GoOdy has Banshees across the map. He actually has 2 right now. And
he's using them to scout.
Yeah, he's using them to scout.
I like that.
He's kind of using them as his own observers, so to say. I mean, they kind of are with the cloak.
I mean, to an extent.
Temporary observer.
Yeah, to an extent, absolutely.
With a little rocket launcher attached to it as well. So they're kind of cool observers in a way. So I think GoOdy here is just controlling the map for now, and yeah, you said he's not going to push yet. He's obviously going to wait for tanks and Hellions, and one thing about Blue Flame Hellions is it's really good against Protoss ground forces such as the Sentry, the Zealot.
No.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The
flying right by that obs. Oh, that is just terrible. Terrible
hot
luck
on
right
its
there.
tail too, man.
Yeah, he needs to clear those obs out somehow. And oh my goodness, I think he will be able to take out this oh my that Banshee gets out with 30 hit points, but
I thought we were going to hear another 5-letter word starting with B
ooh,
there.
just sitting outside of his main with that medevac, not sending it in just yet. It was spotted by that obs, but GoOdy has not sent it in. It's just chilling outside of his main base right now, a little bit up and to the left. It's just in the mid right now, not doing anything. Looks like he's going to try and drop this around the back at the opposite main, perhaps, but you know, now that State knows about this, I don't think it's going to do too much damage.
Yeah, he has the observer there to detect it. One interesting unit we just saw was the Warp Prism finishing for the Protoss player. We may see some Warp Prism action. It's just chilling right now. Oh, one thing I've seen really well used with Warp Prism is this Warp Prism Immortal Micro. Now, I'm not sure if it's actually going to work against Terran Mech all too well.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love
mean,
to see it.
If he can manage to get the Immortals dropped down right near the tanks, which is, I think, what he's going to do. Eventually, when... Eventually, when GoOdy does try and engage, I feel like State is going to use that Warp Prism to drop Immortals right on top of the tanks. He can even deploy the Warp Prism in the middle of the battle and start to warp in Zealots on top of the tanks. So that's probably what he's going to do there. And look, he's moving out with all of his units right now, right as this Blue Flame drop is coming in. This could be terrible for him. This Blue Flame drop could do so much damage here, HD.
Oh my God! All the probes going down at the natural. Almost all of them. State forced to retreat with 5
He's going to the main.
I think these 4 Hellions are going to be deflected, though, in the main. Those Stalkers coming in there at the nick of time. But a lot of probes going down. The entire main force falling back to defend against this. And State taking heavy losses, losing about... I would say a third of his probes there, and he's now under the Terran supply in terms of probes and against SCVs. A brilliantly executed drop by GoOdy right as the Protoss army was moving out. I can't help but wonder, was that a stroke of brilliance or just luck? I think it was a combination of both factors, and GoOdy now is looking really good with his mech ball in the main.
GoOdy's looking good, and he's probably going to move out in a little bit here. He is hitting that critical mass of mech. He's at 164 supply right now. He's actually up. The supply is 167 to 147 currently. GoOdy just now getting some ghosts as well, so we are going to have ghost mech, ghosts being mixed in. Such a great unit to deal with those Immortals. And, State has a very healthy mix of Protoss units, though. He has 4 Immortals in the mix. He does have Blink as well. One thing he does not have is the all-important Colossus. Colossus are so good at times dealing with mech, as are Immortals. Those robotics facilities, they're in there somewhere. There they are.
They are hidden there.
Hiding behind some of the debris there, and those are oh man, they managed to make it right by the entire army, headed towards the natural. They are going to run into this Immortal, but they're just going to fly right by it.
Yeah, actually, contrary to what you may think due to common sense, the Hellions do not take extra damage from the Immortal. They are light. They're going to run in here, and they are going to be able to roast up a couple more probes. State, every time he moves out, he finds Hellions inside his main. It is getting hot in the Protoss main, and that is never good.
Yeah, he continues to find weaknesses there. GoOdy taking his natural third here, or pocket third rather, and set up for a beautiful engagement. State actually just blinking a few Stalkers over there. I don't know if he wants to commit fully here. GoOdy is in a position to do a ton of damage. He has tanks on the high ground, tanks on the low ground, and it looks like State is actually going to look to commit here. I don't know if this is a good idea from him.
He's going to scout with the Phoenix, though, just to see exactly what he's up against, and he sees all those tanks all sieged up on the high ground as well. I think with that, he's going to say, you know what?
Here we go. Hallucinating some units, and he's going to move in.
Going with the hallucinated Void Rays here to take some of the damage, distracting GoOdy, bringing in the Stalkers. He's attacking from 2 different fronts. I don't know if he's got enough. GoOdy running in here with some SCVs, doesn't even need to use them to fight, and State here running into the brick wall. The Panzer General, that is got to be GG. I mean, he's just going to lose everything.
Well, not necessarily, but he just traded so much supply, didn't really accomplish anything there. He's going to be able to clean this up with just Hellions, Marines, a Ghost, and a couple Thors here. He hasn't even brought the Panzer army. The Panzers are back in Germany, just hanging out. They haven't even made their way out yet.
This is France, man. He's making the Blitzkrieg invasion right now.
He's on his way into France, and here we go. Gonna bring those tanks and eventually push. He will be able to take the third. He will most likely be able to take the natural. I don't know what State can do about this. He just lost way too many units right there to be safe. And even trying to use the hallucination before the battle. Hallucinated a few Immortals, some Void Rays. I don't know why the Void Rays were mixed in there. He should have just hallucinated a ton of Immortals. But what he really needed to deal with this is either quite a few Void Rays or obviously Colossus. Colossus can be great. No, he didn't have any real ones, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying real ones. He had real Void Rays.
Absolutely.
It was weird, though. You're right. If he made why make Void Rays? Because the only thing that it really distracts is the Thors, which isn't really that useful, so to speak. And on top of that, State scouted that with the Obs, and I'm so surprised that he decided to attack that.
Yeah, and it looks like GoOdy is pushing for home here. He is slow pushing towards the third. There is not too much State can do about this. State actually committing with half of his army a little bit early right there. And feedbacks going off on one of the Thors, but it is just too little too late. These Thors are just walking around like Boss Hog outside of his natural. There is nothing that's going to be able to force them out. And we do have Hellions and a Thor cleaning out the third here, and State making his final move. GG's at the same time during the battle.
When did the Germans invent Optimus Prime?
I don't know. I don't think the Transformers were ever notoriously German. But Optimus Prime, nonetheless, those Thors looking like Optimus Prime. That's for certain.
Yeah.
So very well played by both players. But GoOdy always managing to make mech work. Yeah. So impressive. And it's not like people don't know what he's up to. I'm sure State has studied tons of his games. There's ample material out there for anyone to look at. But people can't seem to find holes in his play, and that is what's so impressive about GoOdy.
Yeah, you know, if I was a Protoss player, and I'm not, but I would assume building cannons behind your mineral line would be a great deterrent against those Hellions, because I have to say, I think the reason why GoOdy won that game was his Hellion harass.
Absolutely. That and a very untimely engage from State, and State does have those cannons, but a little too late.
A little too late.
Should have had them after the fact. Maybe. I think he kind of realized what you said a little bit after the fact.
So maybe next game we'll see some cannons. Maybe not. We'll see though. Remember, guys, this is IPL round of 32. First game has gone to GoOdy, but State is not out of it yet. Stay tuned. This is HD and Pain User signing out.